Pixel 3a and OnePlus 7 Pro both are very popular devices in the market right now, and there is a price jump up to the OnePlus 7 Pro, not gonna lie, although it's not as substantial as, comparing like a Poco phone to an iPhone XS Max. However, both of these phones have their advantages. Both of these phones are for particular users, and I'm here to help you determine whether you should spend more to buy the OnePlus 7 Pro or, save a few bucks and get the Pixel 3a or the 3a XL in this case. One is not necessarily all the way around better than the other, so I'm here to help you determine which phone is right for you, so stick around. This video is brought to you by PowerAd, and they were kind enough to send me one of their power banks to show you here. This one in particular has a 12,000 milliamp hour capacity and a pretty slim, attractive looking package here. I have an orange variant. It sports 3 amps of output and 2 amps of input, and the best part about it is you can charge it with a lightning cable. So if you're an iPhone user, this is a perfect product for you. No need to worry about carrying a secondary cable, especially if you're gonna lose it, like a USB Type-C or micro USB. So yeah, I will leave a link in the video description for this product if you are interested. So beginning with design, obviously there really is no case to be made. The OnePlus 7 is just a better built device. It's heavy, it's pretty much all glass and metal, and it just looks stunning. It's futuristic, it has a bigger, badder display, which we'll get to. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. If you want a better design, you're going to have to go with the OnePlus 7 Pro. And obviously that makes sense because this is a much more expensive phone. But the Pixel 3a XL is no slouch at all in terms of its aesthetic. I actually really do enjoy the look of things with this phone. The polycarbonate feels high quality in my opinion. You get this glossy aspect and the matte aspect. I thought it was metal or glass, excuse me, the first time I took this out of the box. No joke. It took me a minute to realize it was plastic, but in no way does this feel like a cheap device. It feels cheaper than this for sure, but it's lightweight. The glass on the front looks great. The display has a decent aspect ratio. And yeah, I would say things feel really solid with this device, and that doesn't feel fragile, doesn't feel like it's going to bend or anything, but it's much lighter and not as premium feeling as the OnePlus 7, but that's to be expected. In terms of the button layout, you got volume on the left, whereas with the Pixel you have volume on the right. Power is a similar situation, although you do get this kind of highlighted accent color with the Pixel. And the last aspect of design I like to talk about is the speaker quality. Although OnePlus has updated the speakers with the OnePlus 7, have Dolby Atmos. It's loud, it's much clearer, much better than the previous gen. I do think that the speakers with the Pixel 3a XL sound a lot better. They're punchier, they're louder, they just sound a lot higher quality. The stereo is just really separated, the bass and the treble. I just really love the speakers on this phone, and I do think that they're better than what you get with the OnePlus 7 here. But yeah, let's just kind of sum things up here. If you want a better looking design, you're gonna have to go with the OnePlus 7. It's the clear winner here. This is an older design, but by no means an ugly one. Once again, if you want some crazy design, really high quality build, OnePlus 7 Pro is gonna be for you. But if you're not super crazy about design, then stick around because the 3a XL might be the phone for you. In terms of the displays on these phones, obviously we have a clear winner here. It's totally the Pixel. Yeah, duh. It's the OnePlus 7 Pro. It has an expansive, pretty much full screen display. It's 90 Hz, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's 1440p. It's just a better, brighter, more vibrant panel, especially for YouTube watching and just media consumption. It's just a beautiful experience. But the Pixel 3a and the XL in this case is no slouch, although the display is obviously inferior. The colors aren't as vibrant. It's not as bright. It's not as sharp. This is 1080p versus 1440p. This is still a really decent panel, more than adequate for everything I do with the phone. If I was forced to use this, I would not be that sad at all. I would say this display is 70% of what this one is, and that's really good considering that this is like a really futuristic aspect ratio. It's 90 Hz, and this one's just a pretty typical, lower end OLED panel. It's great for media consumption, just general UI usage, and I've had absolutely no problem using this, especially with stock Android. So if you need an insane display, obviously the OnePlus 7 Pro is going to be your choice. You're going to have to pay a little extra for the brighter, higher refresh rate display here. But if you really don't care for this kind of stuff and you want to save a couple bucks, then stick around because again, the Pixel 3a XL might be the device for your usage case. Moving on to battery life, there are some trade-offs that you have with both these devices, so there might be one that's better for you. I'll start off by saying that the Pixel 3a XL in my experience has given me more battery life, whether by a little bit or a lot of bit. I would say it's going to be better because of the lower res display, and I do believe that the SoC or the processor inside is not as power hungry as the Snapdragon 855, although it does sip power. It has power efficiency. They work on that. Snapdragon does at least. You also have quick charging with this device, so don't worry about charging. It's plenty quick, as in the name. I've been able to charge this in like an hour or two to max capacity, no problem. But with the OnePlus 7 Pro, it has more powerful specs, a bigger, brighter display, so that's going to drain the battery a little more. Marquez said he got 4 hours. I got around maybe 5 or 6 hours with this device doing my, regular heavy usage, whereas with this device I probably got closer to 6 or 7 or maybe even 8. But what I will say is warp charging with this device is just absolutely insane. It blows everything in the competition out of the water. And I know in the US, fast charging is not like a thing, and it's not as much of a thing like it is in China. So if you're a foreign viewer and you're like, wow, welcome to the world of fast charging, I know, I understand that. But yeah, this has really fast charging, probably the fastest you will ever experience right now. But, decent-ish battery life, 5-6 hours at best. Whereas this phone, you're going to get, 7 or 8. And it has adequate quick charging. So that is the basis of your decision here. Personally, in ways I like the OnePlus 7 Pro better, because although I get less battery life, I could just plug it in for 20 or 30 minutes and it's just like all the way back up to 100%. Or I can charge in a jiffy. Why did I say that? That's so weird. But anyway, with this device, it's a similar story. I mean, like, you get really good battery life with it. And you can charge pretty quick, but not as quick as this one. So that's something to consider. Both have excellent battery life for what they are, considering the specs in both. But yeah, longer battery life, okay fast charging, shorter battery life, but insane fast charging. Moving on to camera performance here, this is where the Pixel 3 XL takes the lead. Obviously, this phone is centered around its back camera and front camera. Both shooters take excellent pictures, especially with Google's image processing. OnePlus is a OnePlus device, and I've said this in my review and people got upset with me. They're like, you got to give OnePlus more credit, there's been updates and stuff, and I agree. OnePlus has made some strides. Their image processing has gotten better, they have a better night mode now. It's like an overall pretty decent shooter with the OnePlus 7 here, especially with its triple camera setup here. You have an ultra wide, your regular wide angle, and a telephoto. But what I will say is that photos are gonna look better with the Pixel 3a XL because it's built for that. It's a Pixel device. Pixel dominates the market in regard to camera performance. It's up there with the P30 Pro and the iPhone 10. It's really great, especially in this price range. So if you're someone who's really into photography, then this is a great device for photos and just general, camera usage. With this phone, however, I do love the ultra-wide that comes with it. It is a very useful little feature. I would say the photos that you take here are at worst 60 to 70% as good as the photos you could take with the Pixel 3 XL, which is not bad at all. But again, I'm going to stress this, and I said this in my review, you do not buy this phone for the camera performance. You buy it for everything else and the decent enough camera performance that people need. You want to have a phone that has an okay, at least, camera, and this is definitely the case for the OnePlus 7. It's the best camera in a OnePlus phone yet. However, it does kind of pale in comparison, I think, to the Pixel's photography capability, especially in lower light and bokeh, doing like the portrait mode. The AI that Google has is really excellent for that. Front-facing camera too, as you know, you get a pop-up one with the OnePlus 7 here, which is pretty cool. I think it's kind of like a party trick like I mentioned in my review, but with the Pixel 3a, although it's more boring and just, just there on the top bezel. Hey, hi, how you doing? Real flattering angle there. This has a wider field of view and just takes better photos in general. So yeah, overall photo taking ability, it goes to the Pixel 3a for sure, although this does a really admirable job. In terms of video quality, in ways I like the Pixel's video taking better. It has a lot of high dynamic range. The audio, I think, is better with it too. But the optical image stabilization with the OnePlus 7 Pro and just the overall image quality reminded me a lot of my iPhone XS Max. So that is something to keep in mind. I do think that in ways the video quality is going to be better with the OnePlus 7 Pro here. So if you're into smartphone video, then this OnePlus 7 Pro might be more up your alley. And you also get higher frame rates with this device because it has a better processor in it. You get 1080p at 240 FPS and 4K 60. So if that's important to you, then buy this phone for that capability. But yeah, I will say it, for smartphone video, you might want to go with the OnePlus 7 Pro over the Pixel 3 XL. For smartphone photography, you're definitely going to want to go with the Pixel 3 XL for that. And also, video with this device is great as well. And last but not least, let's talk about software experience and performance, and that's going to be a big difference here. This is where the type of user finds their particular phone that's meant for them. If you are someone who just wants the most blazing fast experience, you're going to want to get the OnePlus 7. It is the fastest phone on the market, I think, right now. Oxygen OS is just so well optimized. It's so buttery smooth, and paired with the 90 hertz display, it's out of this world amazing. Apps open incredibly quickly. You have a lot of RAM to work with. Basically, you're making zero compromises with performance in terms of gaming and rendering and just doing everything from basic tasks to higher end tasks. The Snapdragon 855 just blazes through everything, and in ways outperforms even the A12 found in the XS Max, which is really a great performer too. Whereas with the Pixel 3a XL, you're not trying to go fast. You're just trying to run stock Android in a good enough way, and that's exactly how it is. I don't have a problem using this device. I don't think it's slow, but it's definitely not blazing fast like the OnePlus 7 Pro. You're gonna take a little more time. It's like, this is like a 4-cylinder car, and this is like an 8-cylinder, like a V12. You know, it's like, it's gonna be different, but it doesn't mean that this phone isn't fast. I've used slow phones, and this is definitely not one of them. This runs stock Android well enough, animations are smooth enough, apps open quick enough, and I keep saying enough because it's enough. You know what I mean? It's enough for most people. It has 4 gigs of RAM in here. It has a Snapdragon 655 or something like that. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. But yeah, you are making a compromise here. You want a better camera, cheaper build, overall lower price, but with this you're getting the best of the internals. 8 gigabytes of RAM up to 12, Snapdragon 855. The obvious winner is the OnePlus 7 Pro, there's no doubt about that. But if you are somebody who isn't always in a race, you know, you're not in a huge rush to get into apps, and you're not trying to switch apps like an absolute fiend, then the Pixel 3a XL will be more than enough for you. And again, you're saving a lot of money here by buying this, you know, about $200 to $300, and you get an insane camera. And before I forget biometrics here, again, you have a back-mounted fingerprint sensor with the Pixel. It's pretty quick. Not the most fast on the market, but actually it is going to be a little bit faster or just as fast as the built-in one in the display with the 7 Pro here. This is one is going to be a little less accurate with the 7 Pro because it's like relying on light, but as you can see here, it's pretty fast. You also get face unlock with the front camera, but really it's as fast as the front camera pops out. So I wouldn't really anticipate you using that as much as the built-in fingerprint sensor. But yeah, both of these phones have really great biometrics. Obviously, the one with the 7 Pro is going to be a little bit cooler because it's built into the display. But again, with the Pixel 3 XL, it's in a really convenient spot, and it is by no means a slouch. And also, you can use it to swipe down to get the notification center, which is a great feature, I find, as well. But again, I will remind you, the OnePlus 7 Pro here is the fastest phone on the market. It has decent enough camera performance, it has decent enough battery life, and every other aspect about this phone is amazing. The design, the display, it's a very beautiful handset, no doubt about that, especially in this nebula blue colorway or whatever. But again, Pixel 3a XL is meant for some users. It's affordable, it feels great in the hand, it's lighter, it has an insane camera like I said, and sports stock Android, which is actually really quick, especially with all of its little quirks and features. Oh my god, I'm Doug DeMuro. And yeah, that about wraps things up. I hope this video helped you out. I hope I helped you come to a conclusion if you were stuck in between these two devices or you're wondering whether one was worth it to you or not. I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like on this video, comment if you have any questions or suggestions, and subscribe for more content like this. Again, I left a link to that power bank if you are interested in the video description, and also I have a lot of setup content coming soon. I just sold my firstborn child to get a new computer and just a bunch of different setup aspects or components, so I'm really excited to share that with you guys, so stay tuned for that. And as always, I'm Noah, and I will catch you all in the next one.